Hey, Shalom Israel. Yeah, how about Shem Yahweh Shai Barak Thumb to the brothers? Shalom Yahweh Shema Thumb by Shem Yahweh Shai to the sisters. Make sure we say we live here. Notification. Okay, here we go. All right, we up and moving. All right, cool. Again, Shalom Israel. Yeah, how about Shem Yahweh Shai Barak Thumb to the brothers? Shalom Yahweh Shema Thumb by Shem Yahweh Shai to the sisters. Where the ISUPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans their true identity according to the Bible. And that identity is that we're the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. Us being called Cubans and Puerto Ricans and Haitians and all these different things. These are all bywords that was given to us by the pilgrim. You know what I mean? The colonizer, the slave master. You know what I'm saying? Any term that you want to use to describe these heathens, you know what I mean, all applies. You know what I mean? But the bottom line is that we are not, Dominicans and Mexicans and Afro-Americans or African-Americans or whatever the most recent term is that we were given today. You know what I'm saying? We've been given all these different titles, you know what I'm saying, except Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You know what I mean? Except Manasseh or Gad or Reuben. You get what I'm saying? And so in the ISUPK, under Commanding General Yohana, you know what I'm saying, we are here to give our people the biggest asset that you can have in this society, and that's your identity. You understand me? Because with that identity, what that allows you to do is come back to your culture. You see what I'm saying? And with that culture, you'll learn that there's certain things that we should be doing and there's certain things that we shouldn't be doing, right? So now, somebody give me an example of what we should be doing, and somebody give me an example of what we shouldn't be doing. Come on with it.
We shouldn't be doing celebrating. We shouldn't be doing Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, any kind of celebrations except at the ones that we have.
What do you mean by what we have? Who's we?
I don't know how to say it.
Holy days?
Yeah.
Come on.
Holy days. There's nothing more we can do.
This brother right here knows more than your grandmother who's been going to church for the last 50 years. Get that young brother a hand, man. He's absolutely correct. What he just did was give us an example of the things that we should be doing and gave an example of what we should be doing. You see what I'm saying? And your pastor, who's been up there shucking and jiving and breakdancing and moonwalking, you know what I mean, since the early 70s, you ain't heard that from him not one time. But yet this young brother right here, you know what I'm saying, who will run circles around your pastor, just gave you the whole rundown. Come on with it.
If I could, sir, he's only 7.
7 years old. You know what I mean? Some of these preachers out here, you know what I'm saying, got neckties that's older than this young brother right here, and he still know more than them. You get what I'm saying? That's what the truth does, though. Knowing the truth and knowing your identity gives you that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and most importantly, the Holy Spirit. And what the Holy Spirit does is it gives you the courage to say, "I'm not doing that this year." You know what I mean? I know y'all used to us doing this, but we're not doing that anymore. You get what I'm saying? That's what the Holy Spirit does. It gives you the courage, gives you the spirit of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? To fight off your lust, to fight off your urges. You know what I mean? And to be the men and women that the Lord called you to be. You see what I'm saying? Because the thing about it is that us being who we're called to be will tear down this whole empire. You know what I mean? Y'all bear with me. I'm just sharing the class around. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. There we go. All right, so we good to go. But again, what I was saying was having that identity and coming back to your culture, you know what I'm saying, will give us something that we haven't had for the last 400 plus years. Anybody know what that is?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Gaining our identity and our culture back will give us something that we haven't had for the last 400 plus years. Does anybody know what that is?
Wait, no, I just forgot. I forgot what I was saying.
No problem. If it come back to you, let me know. All right. That's true. But something even bigger than that.
I want to say nation.
That's true, but something that's true as well, right?
Wait, what was the
There's
question?
something else. Once we gain our identity back and we come back to our culture, right? What is it that we will gain that we've been lacking for the last 400 plus years? The brother said law. Hey, my man, what's going on, Kabata? The sister said kingdom. She's right there. It kind of goes hand in hand with the kingdom.
We'll have love for ourselves and our brother and sister.
That's true. It goes hand in hand with the kingdom. That's true as well. That's the answer I was looking for. Freedom.
Okay.
We'd have freedom because right now we're oppressed. That's why I threw the last 400 plus years in there.
Yeah,
that was the hint because for the last 400 plus years we've been in captivity.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and in the midst of us being in this captivity, we've been stripped of everything.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The brother said power. He's correct as well, right? All those things all fall up under freedom. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I use the word freedom is because if we're free, right, that means we're no longer slaves. If we're free, that means we're keeping the law.
Right.
Right? Because that's the only way we can get free, right? And if we're free and we're keeping the law, right, then all that equals the kingdom of heaven, which is right here on earth. You see what I'm saying? You cannot get the kingdom of earth, you cannot get the kingdom of heaven, which is right here on earth, if you ate a turkey leg today. You see what I'm saying? If you ate the cranberry sauce, you know what I mean? If you ate that nasty ass dressing, that I can't stand anyway, by the way, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
I'm right there with you.
You see what I'm saying? The sweet potato pies that you can eat all year long if you want to,
Man.
right? The collard greens that you can eat all year long if you wanted to. That honey glazed ham, which you cannot eat at all, but you chose. It's some people that don't eat pork, but today, because it's a special occasion, I'm gonna go in and eat this ham.
Right.
Because it's just not, this ain't regular ham, this that honey glazed ham. You know, this ain't your ordinary ham. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make this, okay, I'll go and eat some of your ham. Like you doing them a favor.
Right.
When in reality, you're actually mad that you eat something because that's less for them. You see what I'm saying? And so these things that we're doing are the things that's holding us back. These things that we love to do is why there was brothers arguing with a 12-shield general in the chat. Well, not necessarily arguing, you know what I mean, but trying to say that what that brother was teaching was hate. Mm-hmm. When in reality, celebrating Thanksgiving is real hatred.
Not facts.
You see what I'm saying? And that's why I wanted to finish this topic about righteous hatred and why we should hate these other nations. And most importantly, we'll prove it with more scriptures because we went over a couple of them last week, but I got more. There's a couple other things I want to go into as well. But first, let's go in the room. What you got, brother?
So I got two questions actually, right? Mm-hmm. So my first question is, would it be unlawful for us if we not necessarily say it's a holiday, but we make it an annual occasion? I guess we still say technically a holiday. Mm-hmm. If we started doing a little cookout on 9/11 every year, would that be unlawful for us to start that kind of a tradition?
Yes, and the reason why I say yes, and I'll double check for clarity because the thing is though, because the Most High already gave us our high holy days and our feast days. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to you know what I'm saying, because when you do that, it's almost like you've created another holiday.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When all our high holy days and feast days are right there in Leviticus the 23rd chapter.
Okay, so I guess maybe it's three questions then. So would that be any different than like celebrating like an anniversary with your spouse, with your ribs?
You said, would that be any different?
Because like, okay, so like if I were to do, let's say every year 9/11, I'm always gonna barbecue. Right? Now, whether I make it a big thing to open it up to, the whole Las Vegas school or not, it's, hey, this is what I'm doing, but it's not, y'all can come through if you want to come grab a burger or whatever.
What's the spirit behind it?
I mean, the same spirit that they have for celebrating the death and destruction of the Gadites for Thanksgiving. Because, I mean, technically, isn't Thanksgiving almost... Now, I'm not saying that they have the same exact spirit, but isn't it a similar spirit to the spirit behind Passover? Similar, not identical, but it's got some similarities because it's the death and destruction that we're celebrating on Passover for the Egyptians. And then, and that's basically what they're doing for Thanksgiving is celebrating the death and destruction of the Gadites. So would it be wrong for me to celebrate the death and destruction of, not from 9/11?
I understand what you're saying. I would word that differently. I wouldn't put Passover in the same context. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like it like I'm not saying that you're saying that it's cool.
No, right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that at all. But you just want to be careful how you word it, just because somebody that that is unlearned will say, "Oh, so you're trying to say that they're one and the same?" You know what I mean? So
that's what I'm saying. It's kind of similar, but like I don't know how I would put it. So like,
no, I understand what you're saying. I mean, if you wanted to barbecue every 9/11 and that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But to try to turn it into like where you are saying that this is going to be a tradition and trying to turn it into something,
right? You
know what I mean? Then that's something that you wouldn't want to do. But if you just like, hey, here's 9/11, I'm going to do my thing. And you got on the phone as opposed to like you taking a day off, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So it just all depends on like where you going with it. You know what I'm saying? If it's just like, oh, it's 9/11, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna have this toast, you know what I'm saying? Meaning like I'm gonna have a toast, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you know what I'm saying? With the brother, we gonna link type thing, that's fine. But like if you talking about like where you like saving up for it, you taking a day off for it, you know what I mean? And all these things, now you're turning it into something.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When in reality, just to be something that, it's 9/11, I'm gonna go ahead and put my TV outside, fire up this grill, and do my thing. So if you want to do something like that, that's cool. But you don't want to, make it come off or make it appear as if it's some kind of ritual or tradition.
So basically, could you basically say just don't make it into a Sabbath, basically?
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't want to make it something that's holy. You see what I'm saying? Something that's special.
And that also applies to any like an anniversary or something like
that. Anniversaries
you don't make it a Sabbath.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? We're because on the anniversary we just come together, we functioning. Right. Ain't nobody coming and kiss the ring and you know what I mean, just shower you with all this praise and love and you know what I mean, putting you on no pedestal or nothing like that.
Right.
It's just a funk. That's something more time now between the husband and his wife. You know, it's not even a big old thing. It's just something that y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? No different than you know what I'm saying your 9/11 function. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Shemaya, Salaki, my fault.
Oh, Salaki, I was just gonna ask, but you answered it. It's about the holy day because I was just gonna say the reason we can't do that is because we cannot make it into its own like a special day, basically.
Exactly.
The only days that are special are the ones that are in the Bible.
Right. Exactly. You're correct. Come on.
And then my last question, sir, if I may, for Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5, how do we know exactly that this is Solomon saying? Like, how would I break that down to say that this is actually Solomon saying after reading the first 4 verses of Song of Solomon? So basically 1 through 5.
To the sister, would it be like in remembrance of a particular day? Give me some more context. What do you mean by that? And a little bit more clarity.
Let me know when you want me to read it, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to start from 1 or just go straight to 5?
No,
okay.
go to 1.
This is the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1 through 5. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Verse 2. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, For thy love is better than wine. Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee. Draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee. Verse 5, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
Okay, so so verse 5 shows you that he is talking to the daughters of Jerusalem. So this is him, because it says, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
Okay.
Okay. The first three verses, the first 4, 2 through 4 is the sisters singing.
Okay.
And the proof is, let him kiss me with the kiss of his mouth.
Right.
So you already know that cannot be Solomon.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But verse 5, you know what I mean, when it says, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. So he's singing to them. That's him singing to them. So you know what I'm saying? This is a duet right here. You know what I'm saying? This is just like Peaches and Herb around this motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ashford and Simpson.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some things like that. You know what I mean? Who else? Who else did you have? Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. Around there. You know what I mean? Beyonce and the Jigga Man type shit. I think y'all get the point by now. You know what I'm saying?
So, if I could, just to kind of help me out with like reading through the Song of Solomon, I mean, is it just basically you got to just base everything off of context to really see whom and which is it? Because the Song of Solomon are all it's all a duet, and the reason why I'm even asking is because somebody on Facebook has said something. He tried to say that 1 through 5 was just one of his women saying it. I was like, that don't make sense, because of like what you just said with 2 through 4. But I also wanted to clarify and understand how to break it down. So I mean, it's just all contextual all throughout.
The whole Bible is about context. So the Song of Solomon ain't no different.
No, right.
You know what I mean? So that's how you would go about that. All right.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right. Meaning making of 9/11 a day of some type of remembrance of a particular event, would that be observing that day for that event? Yeah, I mean, if you try to make like a whole day of it and made a big deal out of it, then yeah, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you're making 9/11 your God. You get my point. But if it's just something where it's like, to the sister's point, the sister's question, right?
If I mean, what did she say?
She's asking about can you make 9/11 a day of some type of remembrance of a particular event? Would that be observing that day for that event? You know what I mean? How you want to look at it when it comes to 9/11, if that's what you choose to do, or shit, it ain't even got to be 9/11. It could be 1/15. You know what I mean? And that's just the day that you choose that you want to get together and, you know what I'm saying, and do your thing. What you don't want to do is turn it into this big, sacred, holy thing. You just want to keep it simple. You know what I mean? I already got that day off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just gonna go ahead and throw some shit on the grill. You know what I mean? And that's what you're doing. You don't have to let it be known to the public. Hey, I'm celebrating 9/11. I'm doing this. Like today is 9/11 day. Like you don't want to do that. Just keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? Have your sip. You know what I mean? You're gonna pour some on the ground, whatever. You don't want to pour it on the ground because that's like giving a shout out to the dead.
Yeah,
so we don't want to do that. But my point is, just keep it simple, keep it private. You know what I mean? Just something like that. You know what I mean? And like the sister said, Esau does that already. It's not a national holiday to my knowledge, but he damn sure makes sure that everybody remembers. But that's Esau though.
Well, it's not a national holiday.
9/11.
Oh yeah.
It's not yet. I'm pretty sure it will be unless Christ returns. Well, if Christ returns before that, then it probably won't. But if they have their way,
yeah,
they will make it a national holiday.
So if I may, to go back onto what the sister was saying and whatnot, so us publicizing it is an issue, would make it an issue. And I'm also okay. More specifically, what my question is, it's wrong for us to basically antagonize the oppressor. Okay, all right.
Because that's what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ultimately, you know what I mean? We ain't gotta do that. Yeah, we ain't gotta do that. You know what I mean? We'll lean on these scriptures, you know what I mean? and we'll sit back and we'll let the Most High send Christ and the angels back to wage war on these heathens and put them in their rightful place. You know what I mean? And that's that. You know. But again, if that's something that you want to do privately, you know what I mean. So be it. You get what I'm saying? It's no crime in the scripture. Where there's no law, there's no sin. But again, what you don't want to do is turn it into a thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where like you just can't wait. Like when you just looking for where you're treating it, you know what I mean? Like as if it's a feast day or a high holy day. That's what you don't want.
I understand the why.
All right. Any questions online? Again, I didn't mention this in the beginning like I normally do, but you can find us on Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. You can find us on YouTube, ISUPK Nevada. You know what I'm saying? And subscribe to the brothers out there in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? We're doing a multi-stream with those brothers. ISUPK Arizona on YouTube. All right. And it's so funny. The sister said, I've heard it being used as an example when Esau says that's in the past. So is 9/11. Yeah, 9/11 is in the past, but they won't let us forget about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they like I said, they've memorialized it and they've made it a big deal. You know what I mean? But we don't do the things of the heathens. You get what I'm saying? We have our own culture. We have our own way of doing things. You know what I mean? So, which is so hypocritical, by the way, of the so-called white man. But that's who he is, though. You know what I mean? And he wants us to forget about everything that's happened to us. But he refuses to let you forget about anything that's happened to them. And one of the differences that I always point out is one thing about them, they're going to always get their justice. We're still waiting on a sliver of justice. Go ahead.
If I may, they just arrested some I don't know if they were actual Nazis or if they were the neo-Nazis. Apparently there's a separation. But anyways, they just arrested, convicted them for some of their hate crime. I believe they had what happened. I think they stole some coins or whatever, and they prosecuted them to the full extent of the law.
My point exactly.
And if I may, real quick as well, that was probably the first speedy trial I've ever seen in my life. So like,
I don't doubt it for a second.
So like,
I don't doubt it for a second. And that's the thing, though. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Trayvon Martin's murderer is walking free and getting paid for signing Skittles. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's just one example. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, go back into these articles again and get to showing pictures. You know what I mean? Because we ain't got no justice for that. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, but it's the pilgrim being the pilgrim. This is who he is. This is what he does. You know what I'm saying? He's a walking, flaming piece of hypocrisy. You get what I'm saying? The brother said, if I could be very concise, even if we as a nation decided we all enjoy the knowledge of 9/11, it would become unlawful if we decide to blow our shofar, read scripture, and so forth. Am I right? You definitely don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Unless one of our feast days or high holy days fell on 9/11, then it's all good. Outside of that, then you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Because when we do that, right? When we blow the shofar, that right there is what we do when it comes to the high holy days and the feast days. So you definitely wouldn't want to do nothing like that. All right. Anything else? Because I refuse to turn this into a goddamn 9/11 class. Any other questions? Anybody online? All right. If anybody has any questions, you know what I'm saying, you can find us on Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. You can find us on YouTube, ISUPK Nevada, and you can also find us on YouTube as well. YouTube, ISUPK Arizona on YouTube as well. All right. It's something I wanted to get into before I started reading the scriptures pertaining to righteous hatred, right? So for some of us, right, this Thanksgiving thing and not eating turkey and all that stuff, for some of us, we've been doing this for a while, right? And so what I like to say is, you know what I'm saying, we ain't new to this, we true to this, right?
Right.
But then there's some, you know what I'm saying, who's brand new to the get down. You know what I mean? This might be their very first time, you know what I'm saying no to Thanksgiving. You get my point? It's going to be their very first time saying no to Christmas and New Year's and all this other stuff that's around the corner, right? And so what I want to do is I want to go over a few scriptures, you know what I'm saying, to give any brothers and or sisters the strength that they need, you know what I'm saying, to battle the demons, whether it's the demons inside their head or the demons that's coming from within their own household. You get what I'm saying? And so the first thing we want to do, is we want to go into these scriptures because this Bible is our blueprint for everything.
Right.
All the solutions to our problems right here in this book. You know what I'm saying? All the answers to our questions are right here in this book.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so because Christ is who he is, he laid down the foundation for us, and all we got to do is pick up what he laid down. You see what I'm saying? And so when you go to Matthew the 10th chapter, right? We'll start there in Matthew the 10th chapter, and we'll read a little bit about what Christ said. And this right here, it should give you some strength. And for those who decided to fall weak tonight, it should cut you to your core. You get what I'm saying? So let's start at Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34. And I think we're going to read down to 40. But let's see. Let's start at 34, all right?
Kind, sir. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34, written in red.
Mm.
Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Right. So now understand this. This right here, again, context is everything, right? Because ultimately, and the reason why I have to say this is because for the unlearned, when they see that, when it said, think not that I come to send peace, right? They'll say, well, I thought Christ was the Prince of Peace, right? Well, he is, right? You have to continue to read in order to understand what he's talking about right here, because the peace that he's talking about right here has nothing to do with the peace, you know what I'm saying, that we will have once our enemies are destroyed. You see what I'm saying? That's why, going back to what we were talking about earlier, context is everything. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some more.
Kind. Verse 35, also written in red. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
So now stop. So now real quick, right? So this right here shows you the context.
Right.
How do you know that this shows you the context of 34? What can you use to show that what he's talking about in 34 is different than the peace on earth, you know what I'm saying, after he comes back and kills all our enemies?
It's like, can you repeat that last part?
How do you know, what can you use in 35 to prove that in 34 he's not contradicting himself when he's talking about the peace? The peace that he's talking about in this context is different than the peace that we'll have once he restores the rightful order.
Oh, you want a precept?
No. How do you prove that the peace in 34, right, has nothing to do with has nothing to do with the future prophecies?
All right, slide, sir.
The sister answered, but go ahead.
Because he's coming to bring that sword. That sword is symbolism for war. The sword is symbolism for war, and the fact that a man is coming up against that variance with his father is basically going to war. It's a spiritual war of principalities. Where like take for example, me and my father have are at war with a principality of Thanksgiving or Christmas.
That's it. That's how you know. You want to add something?
Oh, I was just gonna say the variance.
That's it right there. All this Christ is on one accord tonight, huh? The sister said the same thing, and that's how you sum it up because of the word variance against his father.
Oh, variance is what you wanted.
You see what I'm saying? But what you said is correct. But the proof is, he says in the very next verse, he says, "For I am come to set a man at variance against his father." Right.
Oh, okay, kind.
You see what I'm saying? So that peace that he's talking about on earth means that he is not coming to send peace between a father and his son, a mother and her daughter. You see what I'm saying? A mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, so on and so forth. So this war that he's talking about is, like you said, a spiritual war.
Right.
In some cases, it might come to blows. You never know, depending on the spirit on those individuals.
Man.
That demon might be as big as a goddamn gorilla. You never know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it is, it could go that way. You know what I mean? But in most cases, it's a spiritual war. And that's what this is talking about right here when it says, I came not to send peace. You know what I'm saying? This is not a peace. This is not for the faint of heart. You know what I'm saying? Because some people for the last 15, 20, 30 years have gone to Big Mama's house every year faithfully. Have bought that treat every year faithfully.
Right.
Has made the cranberry sauce. You know what I'm saying? Has made, whatever the case may be, and they've done this, and this person has been relied upon for the last however many years to do this. And then just like that, you out.
Right.
And so it's going to be such a shell shock because we've been indoctrinated with Christianity. We've been indoctrinated with the ways of America. And so because we've been so brainwashed with the ways of America, we think that not celebrating Thanksgiving is against America. Like it's the American way to celebrate Thanksgiving, to celebrate 4th of July. Like that's the American way. Like, nigga, you are not American if you don't have a tree in your house. You know what I'm saying? You would add something to that?
Actually, I had a question, if I may, sir. So when it says, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, so would that be an example where, like, my rib is, aligned with me to come against her, basically her mother-in-law, because her and I are on one accord?
Boom.
Okay. I just wanted to make
sure. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that.
So it's just saying that, when he comes back, he's going to be having the men and their wives to be on one accord, to basically battle together against, each parent, basically on both sides of the family.
You said when he comes back?
When for what Yahushua, slightly, I did say when he comes back. What Yahushua came for, that variance that he came for when he was.
Oh, right. When he was coming to teach this truth?
Yes.
Yes.
He meant for her and I to basically come together.
Of course.
And then, she's on my side with battling mine, and I'm on her side battling hers.
If it goes down like that.
I can break it down that way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir.
Yeah, I mean, because it's right here.
Right. I just want to.
No, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, to act and to get clarification for sure. You know what I'm saying? And the proof that you're right is how else can a daughter have a mother-in-law?
Right.
Unless she's married.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if two becomes one, then right there, that is showing that y'all on one accord. You see what I'm saying? So if y'all on one accord, you see what I'm saying? If you're at variance with your mother, then she's gonna be at variance with your mother. Now, will it get to the point to where, you know what I'm saying, they get to talking crazy to one another? Nah, but it's like, okay, you ain't fuck with her because she on your line. You know what? I'm gonna cut ties too. You know what I mean? If she gonna treat you like that, you know what? I'm good. You know what I mean? If you ain't going over there, I ain't going over there. Right. That type of deal. You see what I'm saying?
It's just outside. So.
Oh, all right on. The sister said, the truth is real life and it's not easy. And she's absolutely correct. Like again, understand this. Nobody said that being in the truth was an easy thing. Especially if when you're older and you're set in your ways. If for the last 15 years, the first thing you did in the morning was twist up a blunt, and then you read the scriptures about how weed is unlawful, it's hard in the beginning. You know, come on with it.
Honestly, isn't that the whole point of being put through that fire? Because
please,
that's the whole point.
That is the fire. And not talking about the fire in everybody's lips. It's talking about that spiritual fire. What are you made of? You know what I'm saying? That's why it says, you know what I'm saying, as gold is tried through the fire. You know what I'm saying? In Ecclesiastes, the second chapter, that's what it's talking about. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be that gold, you have to go through the fire. You see what I'm saying? That's what strengthens your spirit, is by going through these fiery trials and coming out victorious. You know what I'm saying? You start smoking for 1 day. 1 day turns into 2 days. 2 days turns into 7 days. 7 days turns into 7 months. Now next thing you know, you look up, man, it's been 5 years, man. I ain't even looked at a blunt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even bothered when I'm driving by the dispensaries. It's nothing to me no more. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, little man.
Wait, what? Like you're supposed to go through like a course of fire, right?
Say it again.
Like you're supposed to go through like a course of fire, right?
Are you saying? You're asking? Are we supposed to go through an actual fire? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I think that.
No, it's not. It's not a literal fire. It's a figurative, like a figure of speech.
Like a speech.
Yeah, meaning like a metaphor. Meaning like, okay, it's an example, right? And the reason why fire is used, because what is fire? It gets hot, right?
Yeah.
That pressure that you feel from your family can feel like fire. Depending on how strong you are spiritually, if you don't have the strength, it'll give you anxiety. It'll give you a headache. Your blood pressure will skyrocket because you're worried about what your family is thinking. You're worried about what your family has to say. You see what I'm saying? You're worried about what your kids are gonna say. You're worried about how they gonna treat you. You see what I'm saying? And that can become stressful. And you know what I'm saying? You'll start to feel uncomfortable. Next thing you know, you'll find yourself sweating and everything. You're like, damn, what's going on? Ain't nobody turned up the heater. You see what I'm saying? But it's that pressure that you feel because you're going up against all these people that claim that they love you so much, that you say that you love and that you used to being around, and now it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like they looking at you like you're a whole different person. You see what I'm saying? Like the sister said, she said, or it's weird not to not celebrate. Like think about that. Somebody's calling you weird for not wanting to celebrate a holiday. Like if you just think about it, right? Like check this out, right? This is what I trip on, right? What you have to understand, what you have to understand is, right? Anyone that comes up against you for putting the weed down or putting the pork down or no longer being a gang member or a drug dealer, in reality, they want to see you fail. They want to see you do bad. It's the whole crabs in the barrel theory. You see what I'm saying? It's the old, you know what I'm saying? What's that? Misery loves company thing. You see what I'm saying? I liked you more when you was high. Because when you was high, nobody could pay attention to how high I was because you was always the highest nigga in the room. Nobody tripped on me being a whore because you was a bigger whore than I was. But now that you're not being a whore no more, you know what I'm saying? Now everybody's looking at me. And now I'm starting to feel bad because I'm a whore, but I don't want to stop being a whore. So I'm going to make you feel bad because you're no longer a whore. Think about how crazy that is. You're mad at me because I decided to change my life for the better. Right? But if I decide to go the other way, I love you anyway, son. I'm going to support you in anything you do. Right? Think about all the parents that support their gay sons and daughters. Right? Think about that for a second. Dwayne Wade loves his son. You know what I mean? But yet, when you're trying to do something righteous, you're looked at as an enemy. You see what I'm saying? And again, the reason why that is because, again, your family who claims they love you, they don't really love you.
Right.
Because if they did, they support you, even if they didn't understand or agree with whatever it was you was doing. What they should be focusing on is, damn, that nigga, he cleaned up his life.
Right.
I don't have to lock my jewelry up no more because he's not gonna steal it so he can go get high.
Right.
I can actually have a normal conversation with this man now. His eyes ain't bloodshot red. You know what I mean? He ain't coming over here to hide out from the police because he done hit another lick. You see what I'm saying? Right. That's how it should be. Whether you fully understand why the brother or sister is doing what he or she is doing or not is irrelevant. What you should be happy about is you no longer have to worry about your son being gunned down by the police doing a high-speed chase. You know what I'm saying? What you should be proud of is that your daughter won't wake up from a coma because she got gang raped because she was twerking at some goddamn strip club and teasing men or whatever the case may be. You should be proud of those things. You get what I'm saying? And it's just so weird because, we're so Americanized. We celebrate these holidays and don't even know what the history of these holidays is in the first place. Well, I do it because my mama did it. You know what I'm saying? And her mama did it. And her mama did it. So I'm just carrying on the tradition. So don't never one of y'all know why the hell y'all doing this. You putting up this tree in your house and you have no idea what this tree means.
Right.
But you finna spend money on a goddamn tree so you can have another mess to clean up. I don't know about y'all. I hated sweeping up them goddamn pine needle thing, whatever they called. That shit was annoying as hell.
Man.
I hated trying to pick that thing up and carry it upstairs. I'm getting all that tree stuff all on my hands all sticky. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, who, like, I guess it's easy for them because they ain't the one that got to deal with it, I guess. You know what I mean? But for kids, it was hell. You know what I'm saying? Did you want to add something?
No, I was going to say, what you were saying was just so heavy because, that's something that I related, was the beginning of my father recognizing that I was actually serious about this truth where, I was staying with him when I first got into the school. And so, I had my daughter there, and I told him we're not doing no presents, we're not doing Christmas, we're not doing any of these holidays, and still wanted to do it, got her the gifts, still got her that, just did their part to show that, I don't care what you have to say. But then when you fast forward to today, because, me and mines, we held our ground. Now it's just, it's a simple question where they'll say, hey, are you going to be here this day? That way we can do our thing or whatever, keep it separate. Or, they're being more mindful of us. You know what I'm saying? And you can't get that mindfulness if you don't have any integrity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in the very beginning, just for anybody, everybody that is watching, like it's going to happen. That your family they gonna press the line because they want to really see where you are drawing the line because you just established a new front line. I just want to throw that in. So
right. No, and that's a heavy point. It just goes to show you, you know what I'm saying, when you have that spirit on you, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna stand your ground and you're gonna maintain that integrity to the point to where now your family, whether they agree or not, they respect the game.
Right.
They still might think you're in a coat, but they respect the game. You know what I'm saying? You want to add something?
Oh, I was just gonna say what you were saying about how they make it into like a family thing, Like for today, they're always so keen on the reason we're doing this is so we can come together as a family. But then it's like you never stop to think like what happened with all the people that lost their families and they don't get to spend time with their families, and you're spending. You know what I mean? But you want to sit there and spend time with family. I find it so hypocritical.
Yeah, that's a heavy point. Go ahead.
If I made to her point, because it's what you just said was so doggone heavy. Because majority, everybody says, like what she said. Oh, Thanksgiving. This is the time of year that we get to see each other. We get to actually come together or whatnot. Right? Like it's literally a slap in somebody's face that doesn't ever have that opportunity just to pop up on their family when you already have that opportunity. But you saying, nah, I'll be your boy for Thanksgiving. For what do they call it now? The new millennial shit. Friendsgiving. I think they call it Friendsgiving. Just to try to, pull off pressure off of our Gadite brothers and sisters. So once a year, I'll be your friend. Please. But before the trend was once a year, I'll be your family type thing. Or just a holiday family member. Salakia. So, that was heavy, Shemai.
Like the sister said, the only support on the right-hand side is the UPK.
No, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because we are a family and we don't need a calendar. You know what I mean? In order for us to come together.
Sure don't.
And that's the thing, even for myself, right? So I have a cousin, right? He had Thanksgiving at his house a few years ago, right? And he invited everybody over to the house for Thanksgiving, right? Because it's all about getting the family together, right? Anybody want to take a guess how many times he's invited the family over since? And this was back in 2016. Anybody want to take a guess? So we're talking about 6 years since he invited everybody over for Thanksgiving because it's a family thing. Anybody want to guess how many times he's invited the family over since?
Not a single time.
How about none? You're absolutely right. None. Not once. But it's about the family.
Right.
So it's only about the family once every 6 years. Is that how it goes? Because he ain't invited nobody back over there since. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show you, you know what I mean, the hypocrisy when they try to come with the family angle. Because the thing about it is, like I said in a few classes before, if it was about the family angle, how come y'all just don't come together and say, hey, let's pick a date a few months down the line so we can get our bread together, you know what I'm saying, so we can get time off from our slaveries or whatever, and we'll just make a whole weekend of it. See, because it's about the family. You know what I'm saying? We can rent out a hotel, you know what I mean? We can all stay in the same, because we all coming from these different cities and everything, you know what I'm saying? And we can just come together like that, and we can make a whole weekend out of it.
All right.
You get what I'm saying? No? Oh, okay. No, because the calendar says so. This is why you're doing it, right? Right? So in other words, the calendar is your daddy. The calendar is your God, right? The turkey's your God. You see what I'm saying? And the ham and all these other things. You know what I mean? And in reality, you really don't love your family, because a lot of us don't see our families unless the calendar tells us to.
Right.
Right? If we're going to be honest, how many of us really mess with our moms outside of Mother's Day? And I mean as a whole. You got some that really do mess with their mom, and they talk on a daily. Might kick it once a week. It might be a real thing. But for the most part, Mother's Day is a chore. Man, let me go and take her to IHOP like I normally do. So, she gonna get to talking about her bunions and shit. And I got to hear about, how she keep barely making up the stairs because the neighbor next door always blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's my mama and I love her. You know what I'm saying? But the other days, she doesn't matter.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's no different. It's no different with Thanksgiving or Christmas or so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So and that's what's so interesting about it. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because like the sister was saying, she said, or they being more mindful of that you might be brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing too. You no longer celebrating holidays. You got to be brainwashed because you don't want to celebrate holidays no more. It don't have. It can't be. You know what? I did some reading. I did a little bit of research, and I found out, man, that Thanksgiving was about the celebration of the slaughtering of my North American Indian brothers, or so-called North American Indian brothers. So because of that, like, nah, I ain't rocking with that, man. That ain't cool. You see what I'm saying? Whether you know some so-called Native Americans or not, just the thought of it just sounds heinous when you look at the numbers. If you look at some of the pictures and you think about their condition to this day because of what happened back then, you should be like, man, I'm cool. You see what I'm saying? That's what you should do if you had an ounce of compassion. You see what I'm saying? But this society has taught us to be, you know what I'm saying, having like no compassion whatsoever. If it's not someone that's literally in your family, if it didn't happen to somebody immediately within your immediate family, it doesn't matter.
All right. You
see what I'm saying? And that's what this society has taught us. It has taught us to be numb to everybody else's problems. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I'm so grateful for the ISUPK, you know what I'm saying, the Commander General Yohana, because he raises up men like Officer DeBar Mott and the brothers out there in Milwaukee, and they went out there and did a glorious thing. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because of compassion.
Right. You
see what I'm saying? They see the condition of their people, and they decided that they was gonna do something about it. You know what I'm saying? When these brothers and sisters, they go all over the country, and they passing out clothes, they passing out sandwiches, they passing out waters, they passing out hot chocolate and all these things, they passing out coats and scarves and all these things. Why? Because compassion, which is one of the biggest things that's lacking in the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. You want to add something?
Yeah, kind of. So if I may, everything that you said was just so heavy.
Oh, most time, Christ.
It gives a whole lot more meaning to the saying that, the family that you choose is always going to be more important than the family that you're born with in your life, and there's no getting around that.
Yeah.
And, when you come in, you make that choice to come into the UPK. You get situations like Commander General, like Moses, like Commander General Yohana, like Yahawashai, like Captain DeBar Mott, not to mess up the ranking order and everything, but you know what I'm saying? Where brothers will have compassion on those that Yahawashai didn't actually know everybody personally.
Right.
Moses didn't know everybody personally. Commander General Yohana doesn't know everybody personally. And they even said it in the radio show the other day where Officer DeBar Mott, He didn't know the people that he was being subservient to or being a servant to.
Right.
But yet, because he chose his family of Gadites, the Israelites, they were able to receive the love that they've been neglected of all of these years because of the division that our oppressor had created amongst ourselves.
Yeah, no, that's real talk. That's real talk. The sister said, aren't our brains washed in here? Yes, our brains are washed in here. You know what I mean?
Right.
We have been brainwashed in here, but on the right hand side. You know what I'm saying? Our brains have been washed of the Christianity, of the Egyptology. You see what I'm saying? Of Buddhism and all these other things. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know what I'm saying, we have the Holy Spirit, which teaches us, you know what I'm saying, how to be righteous men and righteous women. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to call me brainwashed because I choose to serve the Lord, other than a goddamn turkey, then so be it. You know what I mean? I'll be that. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, you want to call me brainwashed because I choose not to put a damn tree in my house and put some presents up under it and all this other kind of stuff. Christmas is a joke to me anyway, because I mean, shit, you finna buy a bunch of presents for some kid that don't deserve it in the first goddamn place. You know what I'm saying? You gonna buy it today, it's gonna be broke tomorrow. Or you gonna buy it today and a couple weeks later, hey, what happened to that toy I bought? I don't know. I left it over at my friend's house. Damn, you know how much money I spent on that? Or Santa Claus spent on that? You know what I'm saying? That's that. So I mean, but that's a topic that we go into next month. Do you want to ask something?
I was gonna say, because you said we don't get taught compassion.
Uh-huh.
They teach us compassion in schools, but only when it has to do with the Holocaust, when it has to do with things that pertain to like the white man. It's never like compassion to like
right. You're right, and that's what Christianity teaches. You know what I mean? Christianity teaches you to have compassion for everybody except your own. You see what I'm saying? Like if you think about it. Think about how Black Christians treat other Black Christians. And I don't know how familiar y'all are with that. I don't know if y'all, you know what I'm saying, grew up in a Christian church or anything like that. I'm sure, you know what I'm saying, you was on the Catholic side of it, right? So it probably was a little different in that dynamic. But me, you know what I'm saying, growing up in that Christian church, it was cool from 11 to 1, because that's what time church was. But at 103, that bitch ain't shit, and that bitch is a whore. That's how it went down. You know what I'm talking about? You in there? Good. You didn't miss nothing. If you didn't grow up in a Christian church, you didn't miss nothing. So you good. But that's how it went down though. You know what I mean? Them females couldn't wait for church to be over so that they can huddle up and talk about the other sisters. And these sisters over here couldn't wait till church was over so they can huddle up and talk about these sisters over here. You know what I mean? You would sit in church for 2 hours and listen to the song and dance and the instruments and all these other kind of things. And then you stand in line at some goddamn buffet with your shiny suit on and look down on the brother that's walking up to people asking for change. But you just was in the church catching the Holy Ghost. You know what I'm saying? But the Holy Ghost leaves soon as church is over, huh? That man that's at the gas station is offering to clean your windows for a little bit of change. You gonna tell him to get a job and call him a bum ass nigga? But you saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost is what they like to say. So again, the compassion that's taught is only for the other nations. That's why we were so quick to pray for Ukraine.
Man,
you see what I'm saying? Look at all the compassion that's being shown. And I'm not saying that what happened in Colorado was a light thing. You know what I mean? That's an unfortunate thing. But look at all the love and support and outcries being shown to that. But where was that for Ahmaud Arbery? Or Botham Jean? What was that same energy? You get what I'm saying? Because when it's Black folks, nobody cares. It only matters if it's anyone outside of the 12 tribes, which is how you know who the 12 tribes are. You see what I'm saying? Because we're the only one that don't nobody care about. You see what I'm saying? Since they're not compassionate for your own people with past or present. You are correct. Whether it's the past or the present, we don't. Brother said Christian broads are evil as hell. You're absolutely correct. Christian males are effeminate as hell. CIUIC. You are absolutely correct, brother. Sister said, pray for Ukraine, stop Asian hate, on and on and on and on and on. She is absolutely correct. Everything that y'all saying is correct. That's how you know that you brothers and sisters are one West, because you guys understand what it is that we're talking about. All right, but let's get some more though. Let's get some more. We read verse 36, because this right here, this right here is something that cannot be slept on.
Man.
Read this part right here, please.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 36, written in red. Mm-hmm. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Read it again.
And a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
The scripture says, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Anybody know what a foe is? And no, niggas, I do not mean the number 4. Do not put that in the goddamn chat. Go ahead.
Enemy, opposition.
Exactly, right? A man's foes, you know what I'm saying, or his enemies, you know what I'm saying, or what's the new thing today? Ops, right? That's the new thing, right? So that's what it's talking about. It says, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that said enemy is correct, right? That's what it's talking about. And a man's enemies shall be they of his own household. Why is that part so important?
Because like what you was bringing out earlier, where, or actually no, exactly what it says in verse 35. For I come to set a man at variance against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. That's the household. Everybody's going to be at odds with their family because it's a spiritual battle of principalities. And that's what we're seeing right now with us being the generation of children that, are coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments. We got to battle our own parents, our own family, because we're the ones who are, coming back, and they're the ones who want to stay rooted.
Right. No, absolutely. Like the sister said, because everyone's going to come against you. You know what I mean? Everyone in your family is going to come against you. Everyone in your family is going to be at variance with you. Like you're a common criminal. That's what's so crazy. How do you get treated with more love as a drug dealer? Everybody know what you're doing, but yet everybody can't wait till you come to the house. You see what I'm saying? Everybody know that you pimping out here, and you got these little young girls out here selling their bodies, but niggas can't wait. You know what I'm saying? Till you come to the house. You get what I'm saying? Come on.
If I may, the Chester molester of the family is going to get more love and respect than the brother who actually cleans up their life.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know what I mean? They would rather see you struggling with cigarettes and struggling with alcohol, because again, what it does is, if you're still struggling with alcohol, it's good for them because the microscope will be on you and not on them.
Right.
The more you clean yourself up and the more you separate yourself from the world, the more that the focus shifts. You see what I'm saying? That's what starts to happen. And the one thing that we hate is being called out for our bullshit. You know what I mean? We can't stand that. You know what I mean? And so, like the sister said, it's about to get real lonely. You know what I'm saying? Your friends and family are going to drop you one by one. And that's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But the good thing about it is when you come in here, you gain a brand new family. You gain brand new friends. And these friends and these family members will not drop you. Right. You know what I'm saying? They will not leave you. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I'm saying, one faith, one spirit, one baptism. You know what I'm saying? We all are on one accord. We all serve the Most High. We all follow Christ. And so because we all follow Christ, we all serve the Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be there for one another when that family member calls and says, you know what I'm saying, well, if you ain't coming over for Thanksgiving, don't call me no more. I'm gonna block you. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be friends on Facebook no more, or whatever the case may be. That's okay. I gained a whole bunch of others. You see what I'm saying? That's the beauty of being in here. You're not even tripping. It's not on some, you know what I'm saying? I don't like my family members no more. Nothing like that. They ain't even on that.
Right.
You don't wish nothing bad on them.
Right.
But you just ain't tripping no more. You know what I'm saying? I got love for my older brother. I do. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he's on this side and I'm on this side. So therefore, I choose to be with brothers that's on this side.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I somewhat lost a brother, but I gained a whole bunch of other ones. You see what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you come into the UPK. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some more.
God, sir. Verse 37.
Mm-hmm.
He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
This part right here is very important as well. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of us think that, you know, that's my mom though. That's my dad. You know what I mean? So I don't want to do anything to hurt them, right? How you not coming off for Thanksgiving? How's that hurt them? You see what I'm saying? By you no longer eating shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster, you no longer have high blood pressure or diabetes. So that means there's a chance that you might be around a lot longer. You see what I'm saying? Which is what they want, right? I mean, at least I think so.
Right.
Your family members should want you to live as long as you possibly can.
Right.
And even if you take the law out of it, everybody knows by now shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster is bad for you. Despite what the commercials will tell you. Because Red Lobster, they make them commercials to the point where it's like, after you finish watching that commercial, you will go on your phone and try to find the closest Red Lobster to you. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever unlawful place you can think of. Right? Like if you think about it, there's not a burger commercial that they show on TV without some bacon on it.
Man.
And they make that burger look like it's the best burger that you will ever have in your entire life. And it'll make you want one. You could be sitting there, you're not even tripping. You doing your thing. You might be, you know what I'm saying, writing some notes or, you know what I'm saying, balancing your checkbook or whatever the case may be. You cold chilling, right? And then every time, whatever show you watch to go to commercial break, there's a commercial about this bacon double cheeseburger with extra bacon. You know what I mean? Or this bacon flavored bacon burger. You see what I'm saying?
Bacon wrapped in bacon.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? And so you hear so many times, it's like, you get to smelling it, and there ain't even no bacon in your goddamn house.
Right.
But because of the commercial, you're like, damn, that shit smells good. You get to looking around and shit, and you want to know what restaurant is that? What fast food chain is that? You get my point? And that's what starts to happen. You know what I mean? Like the sister said, unlawful foods are looked at as delicacies. And that's when we talk about brainwashing, that's the brainwashing of the oppressor. He'll make you believe that something that's bad for you is actually good for you. But if you just do a little bit of research, you'll find out just how dirty and filthy pigs are. You'll find out how dirty and filthy shrimp is. You know what I'm saying? Shrimp is considered what, the roach of the sea? But yeah, how many of you niggas eat roaches? Y'all love this shrimp, and y'all love going to the fish market. Y'all love getting that shrimp, or you know what I'm saying. Y'all love going to whatever seafood place has the all you can eat shrimp. Well, why not get that roach from behind your refrigerator? Because I know you got a couple, right? Because you eat pork, and roaches love pork. You see what I'm saying? And so because you got a few behind your refrigerator, why not go ahead and get that broom, tilt that refrigerator to the side a little bit, go and get that broom, sweep it up. Right, get you some of that good old cornmeal. You understand? Or some fish fries, something like that, and hit it with some seasoning. Put some of that Cajun seasoning on it, some of that jerk sauce or whatever the case may be, and dump that shit in some batter and get it cracking. Now somebody wondering, oh, that's disgusting. Oh, you nasty. What the hell wrong with you, nigga? This the nigga that's eating shrimp.
Right.
What's the difference? You niggas that eat a pig, but if I say, hey man, what you waiting on, man? Go and get that cat, man. I hear a motherfucker meowing in the back. You know what I'm saying? He sound like he wanted. You got action, right? And they'll look at you like you crazy, man. You eat a goddamn pig. And you niggas that eating these chitlins, y'all eating pig ass. You see what I'm saying? So again, don't let your parents make you feel guilty for serving the Lord. Don't let your kids guilt you into doing anything that you know you're not supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Don't be so weak to where you're giving your parents the strength, or where you're giving the kids your strength. You know what I'm saying? When Christmas come around, you say, "Hey, we ain't doing the Christmas thing no more." Well, if you don't buy me no Christmas present, I'm running away from home. You know what you should do? You should unlock the door. And tell them don't take none of the shit that you bought with them. You know what I'm saying? You on your own. You get my point? Now, obviously, I don't mean this, but what I'm trying to say is that's the mentality that you should have. You see what I'm saying? You would never kick a minor out the house, of course. But what I'm trying to say is, if that's really how, if they really that serious about it, you know what I mean? Call them on their shit and see what they do. You know what I mean? A lot of them ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Because it's cold out there and it's warm in that house. You see what I'm saying? You ain't getting no hot chocolate on the street. You see what I'm saying? You're not getting, you know what I'm saying? Any of the things that you was used to, because you can't sleep in the bed if you're on the streets. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to make you a cardboard mattress. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna have to fight the bums around the corner for that cardboard because they saw it first. You get my point? So you know what you want to do. You get what I'm saying? She said snout and everything. Just looking at a pig is just man. I'm so, you know what I'm saying, grateful for this truth, man, because goddamn. Sister says seafood is so unhealthy or unclean, it is recommended that you should not eat every day or even more than once a week because of the mercury. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah. Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yet they push it on you like it's a thing to do, and then you wonder why you in the hospital all the goddamn time. You want to wonder why, you know what I'm saying, your feet swollen up, you walk around, you know what I'm saying? You're a woman, you're about 5'2", right? But your feet look like Paul Bunyan's. You know what I'm saying? The reason why is because you eating all that goddamn mercury and all these other kind of things. You know what I'm saying? Now your cheeks bigger than Malcolm Jamal Warner's because you eating all this goddamn seed. Now your shit all swollen up, you're sick. You know what I mean? You know how you trying to figure out what the hell is going on. You get my point? And that's why, because you eating the stuff that you ain't got no business eating. You see what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you ain't got no Wi-Fi either on the streets. So for you kids that say you don't buy me no toys, I'm leaving. Okay, well, nigga, how you gonna connect online? Ain't gonna be no online gaming on the streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You may as well leave that headset. You may as well leave all that shit because you got no action. You see what I'm saying? But that's the thing. So the reason why we're reading scriptures is because what I want to do is I want to give brothers and sisters the strength that they need to understand that Christ forewarned us that these things are going to happen. You know what I mean? And this time of year is real hard for brothers and sisters that's brand new into the truth. You know what I mean? Some brothers might lose their wives, or some sisters might lose their husband over a fucking turkey. Slightly over a turkey. You know what I mean? Or over a tree. Like think about that for a second. You love this tree more than me. You know what I'm saying? You and that tree must have some good nights together, boy, because you gonna pick the tree over me, boy. It must be on and cracking up in there. You know what I'm saying? I forgot I got the little ones, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Man, you know what? Nah, man, not tonight. Got to start the young ones out. So the bottom line is that this is what's gonna happen, and what you got to understand is that this is prophesied about already. And you need these scriptures, you need to put these scriptures in your inward parts to prepare yourself, for, you know what I'm saying, for the times ahead. Let's get some more.
Verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Is not worthy of me, right? Meaning this. When it says he that not taketh his cross and followeth after me, meaning those burdens, meaning living like Christ did. You know what I mean? It doesn't literally mean that you're going to go out there and chop down a tree and carve up this big ass cross and strap it to your back. That's not what it's talking about. You know what I mean? It's just talking about the weight of being an Israelite. It's talking about the weight of keeping these law, statutes, and commandments. It's talking about the weight of no longer celebrating Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? It's the weight of not going out on New Year's Eve anymore. That's what it's talking about. You get what I'm saying? And Christ is saying, if you're not willing to do these things, if you love your father, your mother, or if you love your kids more than me, you're not worthy of me. You know what I'm saying? And if you allow yourself to fall weak up under your parents or fall weak up under your kids, if you think them being mad at you or something, think about what the Most High is going to do to you because you chose this kid's happiness over righteousness. You see what I'm saying? Scripture say you can't serve two masters. You know what I mean? You're going to love the one and hate the other. You see what I'm saying? So if you love Thanksgiving, you've chosen your master. And you're a traitor in the eyes of the Most High. And you're a traitor to those so-called Native American brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? From Captain Soccer Ward, you know what I'm saying? Officer Thabawan, Officer Shalimar, Officer Bakar, who else? Officer Karyash, you know what I'm saying? Officer Madara, you know what I mean? It's like if I'm not really going in rank order, but y'all get the point though. These are all so-called Native American brothers. You know what I'm saying? That I got a lot of love for. Because of my love for those brothers, you know what I'm saying, is why I could never rock with Thanksgiving ever again. You see what I'm saying? And every brother and sister, you know what I'm saying, that's coming in here should have that same mentality. Once you find out that the so-called Native Americans are your brothers and sisters, and then you start to look into what they've gone through, it should make you have even more compassion because you can relate. You see what I'm saying? We have that in common. You know what I'm saying? Destruction at the hands of our enemies. And then you'll start to come to the realization like, damn, man, that's not my enemy. That's my brother. That's my sister. You know what I'm saying? We need to come together instead of being separate. You get my point? And so Christ is saying, if you're not willing to do these things, you're not worthy of me. You know what I'm saying? And you do not want to be an enemy of Christ. You see what I'm saying? Because again, if you think the fire that you're getting from your family is bad, if the Most High turns his back on you, you're gonna see what real fire feels like. You see what I'm saying? Like you willing to sell your soul over a holiday. You see what I'm saying? Like you can have turkey. A lot of niggas don't even like turkey until today. You see what I'm saying? Like how many? Like real talk. How many of y'all ever outside of Thanksgiving ate cranberry sauce on a regular basis? You see what I'm saying? Like online. How many of y'all actually ate cranberry sauce outside of Thanksgiving or any of these holidays? Because they sell it. You did? For real?
Capriati's has it in there.
Not what I was talking about, but go ahead.
Yeah, she ain't been in Capriati in 2 years. We been together, so it's a lot.
Not what I was talking about, but right on. I meant, you know what, never mind. We'll just keep it pushing.
Hell no.
Let's get some more.
Good, sir. Verse 39. He that findeth his life shall lose it. And he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
You see what I'm saying? You have to lose the old life to find the new life. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. We've all lost that old life. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at the chat, and everybody's saying the same thing. If it wasn't for Thanksgiving, then nobody be eating no goddamn cranberry sauce. Now this right here is what I'm talking about. Cran and vodka is the only cran I know. I mean, I wouldn't call it cran, but I understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? But that's the thing, though. If you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? In order to gain your life, you have to be willing to lose it. You know what I'm saying? In order to become that new man, you must first kill the old man. You know what I mean? And so that's the mentality that you must have if you truly want to be a follower of Christ. You have to kill that old man, you have to kill that old woman, and you have to become a brand new man and a brand new woman in the name of the Most High in Christ. The scriptures say you cannot pour new wine in the old bottles. You get what I'm saying? You cannot receive this information if you choose to hold on to the old information, because you have to understand that the old information was incorrect. How do you know that the old information that you've been taught and believed in all these years was wrong?
The ISUPK showing what the truth of the Bible really is.
That's true. Even a little deeper though.
Nobody actually follows what they say their belief is in the first place.
That's true as well. That's also true. You want to add something? For time's sake, I'll give it to y'all. All right. All these different religions and all these different quote unquote movements, and we're just in the same condition that we was in 400 years ago. What's changed other than the religion? You know what I'm saying? The so-called leaders have changed. You know what I'm saying? But they're all talking the same thing. And where have we gotten? We're in the same place now that we was when they so-called freed us. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nothing changed but the date. You get my point? And like I said, our condition tells us that is wrong. Our current condition, the fact that we're still under the curses of Deuteronomy 28th chapter lets you know that everything that we're doing is wrong. Meaning everything outside of here. Let me make sure I say it like that. All right. Let me get a.
verse 40, sir?
No, it's good. We can leave it there. What I do want is give me Jeremiah 2 and 33 real quick.
2 and 33?
Yeah, give me Jeremiah 2 and 33, and then we'll drop this. I got about 30 minutes left. You know what I'm saying? We'll get some more scriptures about righteous hatred because hatred is in the Bible, and what we have to understand is there's a difference between hating and treating someone with hate. You get my point? But let's get Jeremiah 2 and 33 real quick. All right.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
Read it again.
Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
One more time.
Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
This part right here is what you must understand when it comes to battling and dealing with your family members. Right? Friends, family, whoever. Right? In order for them to love you, you got to come over on Thanksgiving. They're willing to cut you off, you know what I mean, because of the 4th of July, you know what I mean, or Christmas or any holiday. It don't even have to be a holiday. It could be a birthday party. You're not coming. You're not coming. I'm turning 40 this year, and you're not coming to my party. You only turn 40 once, and you my best friend, and you're supposed to be there. And they get to hit you with all this guilt, even though you know in your spirit that birthdays are unlawful. But for the sake of your friend that you've been knowing since the 9th grade, okay, I'll go just this one time. You see what I'm saying? You just trimmed your ways to seek love. Come on with it.
But to your birthday point, your master, your plantation master said that you can't go. Now we understand. Now I'm understanding that, the master said you can't come over to my place and celebrate my day. I forgive you. Yeah. If I just simply say, I don't practice that no more, like, I'm giving up on it, and this is, this is the research, this is the reason why, nah, man, you ain't my friend no more.
Yeah. And that's the mentality that you have to develop. If you're gonna serve the Most High, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to cut some people off.
Right. And
I don't mean cut them off as far as like fight them or nothing like that, or you know what I'm saying, talk crazy to them or none of that. You know what I mean? The reality of it is that some of us have relatives or friends or so-called friends that, because we have a lot of love for them, they have a strong influence over us. And if we're not strong enough spiritually, you know what I'm saying, we'll let them gas us up and do some shit. And then we got to live with the fact that we let them play us. You see what I'm saying? And that's what this scripture is talking about. You let your kids guilt trip you into doing one last Christmas, right? And fuck around and forget to put some water in that tree, and now the whole house didn't burn down because you chose to trim your way to seek love. You see what I'm saying? You didn't burn down the whole house. That's the judgment from the Lord. So all them presents, all that money that you spent is all up in smoke. I ain't talking about that Cheech and Chong up in smoke. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about you have to call the insurance company. You know what I mean? And they're going to find you at fault, and you're not going to even get your insurance money. But it's for the kids, though. My kid, they don't do that. Don't under any circumstance are you ever supposed to trim your way to seek love. And we just read it. You know what I'm saying? Did you want to ask him that? All right? You had your hand up?
Oh, no, sir. It's like, did you want the rest of 33?
No.
Okay.
No, that right there is the point. The second part is going into something else. You see what I'm saying? But the first part is what you want to focus on for this particular subject that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Is actually why trim your way to seek love. You know what I'm saying? How would you say that today? What's another way of saying trimming your ways?
Oh, for trimming your waves?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, why you switching up on me?
That's a way. Some of the little heavier. Some that's real. Well, I don't know if it's still said today, but something that was said a lot amongst us. You know what I'm saying? When somebody went against the grain.
Not that kind of slang. I was just gonna say, God, like for me, that'd be just compromising.
That's true. That's it. Selling out.
Yeah.
He sold out. You see what I'm saying?
I don't understand that term. I don't see how that would be selling out.
If you know birthdays is unlawful,
Right.
right? And yeah, you go to that birthday.
Oh,
party,
no, sliding.
selling
I
out.
mixed it up. Sliding.
So that's how you would say it today, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a sellout. You know what I mean? If you sit there and you talk all that shit about white women, and then you end up getting with a white woman, then you just sold out.
Right.
What you got, little man?
Wait, like, I have a question. Like, you're saying about when you like marry with a white when you like marry a white girl, right?
Uh-huh.
I thought you were saying like when you're like you're just dating a white person.
Yeah, if you date a white person, you selling out. Why is dating a white woman selling out?
Because they're lawful.
Give his brother a hand, man. This 7-year-old, that's a bad brother right here, man. He gonna be taking my seat in a minute. You know what I mean? Give his brother like a few more months, man. He gonna be running the whole goddamn class. You know what I mean? The sister said, compromise what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? To have love from those you love, and that's the thing though. When you're supposed to be selling out for Christ, that's that. If you gonna sell out for the Most High. You know what I mean? Sell out for these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what you should be doing. You know what I mean? Because that right there, the reward for that is way more greater than any reward that you can receive from man. You get what I'm saying? So if anyone has any questions or comments on what we just covered, you know what I'm saying, you can type it in now. If not, we're gonna go ahead and finish up from last week. All right. I just wanted to speak on that a little bit, man, for the brothers and sisters, because I know for those that's brand new, you know what I'm saying, these are hard times. You know what I mean? But in reality, you should look at it the other way, though. Because think about all the money that you're saving, not having to buy Christmas presents or not having to buy a tree, right? Or whatever else you do during Christmas. Like, I actually stopped celebrating Christmas before I even came into the school. So it's been years, you know what I mean? I would do the sales, you know what I'm saying, to save some money. But my kids would get the stuff the day that we got the stuff. It didn't get wrapped up or nothing like that. It was like, hey, what you want? Okay, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get what we can afford, and that's that. And we bring it back, and there it is. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how we did it. You know what I mean? So, but when you think about it, right? When you think about if you were the one that had Thanksgiving at your house every year, think about all the cleaning you don't have to do. Think about all them dishes you ain't got to wash. Unless you the type that like washing dishes. Lord be with you. Me, myself, I can't stand dishes, man. Dixie is my best friend. Understand me? Tupperware and all that shit. No, Tupperware you got to watch. Never mind. Tupperware ain't my friend. But Dixie and whatever the other shit is called, Johnson & Johnson and all that old shit.
Hefty, I think.
Yeah, hefty cinch sack. All that old shit. Them my partners right there. I rocks with them. You know what I mean? The shit that say China on the back, made in China, no, we don't like that. Because them got to be washed. You know what I mean? What's the box with all the plastic shit? Them is my partners right there. Whoever makes the plastic forks. You know why? You just throw them in the trash. You ain't got to wash them. You know what I'm saying? It's my friends. You know, the knives, like, you got to wash that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The plastic, you just throw it in the trash. It ain't no thing. You know what I mean? But you got dishes, you got to buy, what's that stuff? What's the name of that stuff? Dawn and, you know, you got to get rid of the soap scum and all that nonsense. Nobody got time for all that. You know what I mean? So if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying? You ain't cooking no more. You get to save all your nice little pots and pans and all that kind of stuff. You ain't got to worry about nobody coming over, putting a dent in your couch. You know what I mean? Because they done had too much turkey. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about somebody getting drunk and tipsy and fighting and breaking your silverware and all your nice stuff and somebody stealing your CDs and all that. You ain't got to worry about none of that stuff no more. It's a beautiful thing, man. I'm trying to tell you. You see what I'm saying? So you save money, you know what I'm saying? You save all the headaches, you save all that nonsense. So instead of looking at it like, oh man, my people's gonna be mad at me, they not messing with me no more, whatever. Look at this shit. That's fewer trifling ass niggas I gotta feed. Look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Go to McDonald's, go get you a Big Mac, you know what I'm saying? No onions, extra pickles, and go about your business. Or Taco Bell, whatever you choose. Hey, ain't no thing. You know what I mean? But it's better, you know what I'm saying? It'll taste so much better than that turkey that you would have ate, because you probably was gonna choke off that damn turkey anyway. Solo cups, that's what it was. Thank you. That's the name of the Solo cups, man. I think that's what that is right there. Solo cups. The sister said, such a burden that's lifted for real. Yeah, man, I'm trying to tell y'all, man, leave these damn holidays alone. You know what I mean? These high holy days are so much less of a headache. I'm trying to tell you. Come on with it.
And I was just going to say that people that are newer to the truth, that they should find comfort in knowing that they're not the only ones that have to go through like family separating from them because of you're not celebrating their turkey Thanksgiving. You're not the first or the last one to go through that. So it should give you comfort, if anything.
You are absolutely correct. And that's the thing. That's the beautiful part about being in here. You can pick up the phone and call somebody, and they'll tell you some things. You be like, damn, I thought I had it bad. Man, that's messed up. Ain't you had to go through all that? Then over a birthday party? Damn, that's crazy. You see what I'm saying? And after y'all get to talking and everything, once you get off the phone, you'll forget that, you know what I'm saying, your mom's just mad at you, that your favorite cousin ain't talking to you no more. You ain't worried about that stuff no more. You know what I'm saying? You lost one, but you gained one. Look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's it on that, all right? What we leave off at last week? I think we finished off at Psalms 139, I think. Let me double check. You see something? Man, I think it was Psalm 139. Right on rock. That's what we finished off last week.
That's like, I'm not sure, sir.
It's cool. We can start there. I just got a few. We'll start there. Yeah, let's start right there. Let me get Psalms 139 and 21.
God, sir, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee?
Mm-hmm.
And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee?
Uh-huh.
I hate them with perfect hatred.
Mm-hmm.
I count them mine enemies.
You see what I'm saying? This is King David, right? This is King David who the scriptures call a man after the Most High's own heart. And he said, do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee. You see what I'm saying? And so what this is letting you know is hate is in the Bible. We just read it. And we're about to read some more. But for those that believe that this Bible is all about love, 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 it is. For Israel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for these other nations, they mean nothing to the Most High. You see what I'm saying? We just read one example. Let's get another one. Let me get Isaiah chapter 40 and start at verse 15.
God, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket.
Read it again.
Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity.
You see what I'm saying? These other nations mean nothing to the Most High. He said, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing. You see what I'm saying? So, how would you sum up how the Most High feels about these other nations? Just based on what we just read right now. Go ahead.
Ultimately, he cared less.
You see what I'm saying? Or
He hates them.
boom,
Yeah.
one topic. He hates them. You see what I'm saying? You don't talk like this about somebody you love. You get what I'm saying? And so this is just one of many examples, right? And so the reason why I went here is because the word hate is not in these 3 verses that we just read, right? And that's what a simpleton would say. But if you were paying attention, when I asked you to sum it up, that's how come you was able to sum it up, because you have the understanding. You know what I mean? You don't speak like this about someone that you love. You get my point? This sounds like hate speech to me. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, they in the negative. You know what I'm saying? The Most High ain't dealing with these other nations. You know what I'm saying? That he has no love for them. So if he has no love for them, that means he hates them. You get what I'm saying? Let's get some more. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. We go to the book of Obadiah, chapter 1. And we're gonna read, I believe verse 2, I think. Let me see. Check my notes real quick. Hold on. All right, so this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 2. It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised." This is Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 2. It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised." Verse 3, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" Verse 4, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord." You see what I'm saying? So now in these 3 verses that we read, what is one of the things that should have jumped out at you based on what we're talking about tonight?
So where we at?
Obadiah 1, verses 2 through 4.
I would say how you talked about how they're greatly despised.
That's it right there. This is good. Give her a hand. That's correct. Despise. That's the word. That's one of the things that should have jumped out based on the subject, because we're talking about righteous hatred, right? And we're talking about how hatred is in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't even say despise. It says greatly despise. You see what I'm saying? So once again, this further proves for all that love that these Christians love talking about when it comes to the Bible, they skipped over these verses. You see what I'm saying? This is why it says line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. You see what I'm saying? Because we went into Psalms, right? We in Obadiah, right? We read some Isaiah. You get what I'm saying? And we're going to get some more. Let me see. Where we gonna go from here? Drop down to verse 8.
Kalawakai, the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 8. "Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter."
May be cut off by what?
By slaughter. Verse 10, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever."
You see what I'm saying? So just when you read that right there, We don't see the word hate in these next 3 verses that we just read, but it don't sound like anything pertaining to love either, though.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If you understand what it is that he's saying, that's why when we go to Revelation 13th chapter, you know what I'm saying, where it says, he that had an ear, let him hear. You see what I'm saying? Because you really have to listen, you really have to pay attention, you really have to have the understanding in order to pick up what's being laid down right here. And what you have to understand is one common thing that you're going to see in all these scriptures that we're reading right now on topic is even when you don't see the word hate, when you don't see the word, the scriptures alone will let you know exactly what it is that it's saying. You see what I'm saying? Let's go there. Revelation 13 and 9.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Mm-hmm.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints.
You see what I'm saying? So right here, it's talking about a nation of people going into captivity and a nation of people that's going to be killed by the sword. You get my point? So once again, the Most High's hatred towards these other nations is so strong to the point to where he's going to make sure that they all get wiped off the face of the earth. That's not love right there. You know what I mean? You know that he loved us because even though we went into captivity, right, he gave us a way out of captivity.
Right.
For these other nations, there is no way out of captivity.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Most High, even despite our disobedience, right, he always gave us a way to come back. But there is no coming back to these other nations. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
If I may, like coming into the truth, you understand that, like, love isn't something that you feel, isn't something that, like you just feel. It's something that you do. So when you actually read the Bible, you understand the Bible or come to understand it, you come to understand that even when the Syrians or the Edomites or the Egyptians were in power, it wasn't about like the Most High having any type of favor or love for them.
Mm-hmm.
All of that was done because of what he wanted to do out of the love for Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Because when somebody is messing up, your wife or your kids is doing something wrong, what do? You correct them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you give them also corrective action so that they understand that there is consequences with you messing up.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Egyptians having power over them, having power over us.
Right.
Because you mess up, I'm going to put people over you. And that's been what it's been, time and time again, all throughout history. And that in itself lets you know that the Lord don't love them other nations. He didn't love them to put, enough to put them on power. It was about us.
Right. No, and that's an excellent point. And that's exactly how you would break this topic down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Sister has a question. It says, if I could say, could this for hate would refer to Noah in the ark, why he had to build the ark? Okay, the reason why the Most High built the ark or had Noah build the ark was to destroy the earth because of interracial marriage, because the Most High hates interracial marriage. You see what I'm saying? So if that's what you're asking me, then yes. You know what I mean? The Most High's hatred for our abominations is why he destroyed this place.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if I'm understanding your question correctly, then yes, you can say that that's why he had Noah build the ark. You know what I'm saying? And he saved Noah and his family and destroyed everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Because of how much of an abomination it was to commit those acts against the Most High. You know what I mean? Let me know if that's what you're asking, and if not, you know what I'm saying, I'll answer it. Okay. Yes. So that's why, because of, you know what I'm saying, the hatred that he had for the abominations that was being committed. Because again, the Most High was never okay with interracial marriages. The Most High was never okay with homosexuality. bestiality or none of those other things that was going on during those times. And he's not okay with them now. And that's why, once again, we're being destroyed as a nation because of all the abominable things that we're doing. That's why, again, we're still up under the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. All right, let me get let me make sure I want this. Let me see something. Yeah, let me get Jeremiah 16:16.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes.
So because of the things that these other nations have done, right here when it says every mountain, you know what I'm saying, it's talking about one people specifically. However, all it applies to all the other nations, right? So if he's gonna hunt them and destroy them in all these bomb shelters that they built and all these different things, and they going underground and all this hiding, and he's gonna send for hunters to go and dig them out of their bomb shelters and destroy them, what does that sound like?
There's no escaping what's coming their way. There's no escaping the hatred. Wow.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? The Most High hates them so much that he's even going to send hunters to go into these bomb shelters to make sure that they all, you know what I'm saying, pay for the crimes that they've committed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Most High hates these other nations for the crimes that they've committed. And again, not just because of the crime that they've committed, but the crimes that they're committing. You know what I mean? And like the brother said, extermination. That's a good way to look at it. You know what I mean? Gonna be like an extermination crew just coming through and just getting rid of all the varmint. You know what I'm saying? Getting rid of all the rodents, you know what I'm saying? Getting rid of all of the plagues and all the bacteria and diseases, because that's what these other nations are at the end of the day. That's how you would sum them all up. They're like a plague, you know what I mean? That's just destroyed and ruined the whole earth. You get what I'm saying? Let's get some more. Let me see. No, not there.
Oh.
Let me get Psalms 137 and 9. Psalms 137 and 9. Actually, let me see something. Actually, start at 7.
This is the book of this is the book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
For those that don't know, raise it means to destroy. Keep reading.
Verse 8, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Verse 9, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
You get what I'm saying? So that right there, now listen, you have to have committed, you know what I'm saying, some heinous crimes, you know what I'm saying, for it to talk about the destruction of children and the death and destruction of children, right? And it's righteous though, right? It's righteous. And why is it so righteous? There's a couple reasons why it's righteous. Go ahead.
Because the Trail of Tears.
You know what I'm saying? That's for me, there is really no another example that's needed after that. You know what I mean? If anybody knows anything about the Trail of Tears, you know what I'm saying, you know that Andrew Jackson was a evil, cold, cruel mercenary. You know what I mean? He was just a murderer, a stone cold murderer, right? And the thing about it is, right, since we're on the subject of hate, the so-called white man hates you so much that he won't even let you forget about how much he's destroyed you. You see what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is specifically, right, We talking about the Trail of Tears, right? Who's on the $20 bill?
Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. Think about that for a second. You see what I'm saying? Like they, what's the word I'm looking for? Go ahead.
The idolize, is that what
Something along those lines. Like they glorified him, and revered him, and all these different things because they put him on. They put him on a $20 bill. You know what I mean? So every time you go to break a 20, right? You gotta look at the man, right? Who was responsible for the death of countless so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Countless. Like he was the dude that spearheaded that. You know what I mean? And if you look in it, you know, if you look into the Trail of Tears, if you're not really too familiar with it, you know what I'm saying? And again, if you have just a small ounce of compassion, it'll damn near bring you to tears. You know what I mean? And so these things must happen. You see what I'm saying? But all these right here are future prophecies, right? And so now the reason why we're going into these things is because although we reading about hatred and righteous hatred and all these things, right? There's a time for when the hatred is going to be carried out, right? And then there's a time where you have to have a different kind of hatred, right? What kind of hatred are we supposed to have today? What kind of hate? Because if we're not in a time to where, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna be dashing little ones against the stones, and when we're not gonna be hunters and going into the bomb shelters and all that, what type of hatred are we supposed to have today? Come on with it.
Separation.
Yes. Go ahead.
We're supposed to like. I know it's within this.
If it come back to you, let me know. All right. No, it's still the same. It's still the same type of hate. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about we read in Jeremiah 16:16, right? It's all. You know what I'm saying? All this hatred that we're talking about in here, they all go hand in hand. You know what I mean? The brother said the Caucasian race is literally an invasive species. That is a good way to look at it. He goes on to say they idolize the ones that exterminate us, and he's right about that as well. You see what I'm saying? And so the thing about it is, what's important about this to understand is right now is the time to have that hatred to the point to where we separate, right? The hatred today is spiritual hatred. You know what I'm saying? But we hate them so much to where we can't even stand to be around them. You know what I mean? To the point to where it's like, I gotta work with you because I'm in hell. But when it's time to clock out, you're gonna go your way and I'm gonna go my way. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta worry about me inviting you over to my house, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna turn down an invite to your house. But because I know you hate me, you're not even gonna invite me to your house, and I'm fine with it. You see what I'm saying? But that's the difference though. With Esau, right? And all these other nations, you know what I'm saying? They show you just how much they hate us. They show every chance they get, they show you. You know what I mean? And in time, we will have the opportunity to do the same thing, but it won't be without reason. You see what I'm saying? Everything that's going to happen to the so-called white men and all these other nations, you know what I'm saying, is justice. It will all be justified, right? But today, right, we show our hatred for them by not going in the stores, you know what I'm saying, and buying a turkey and a cranberry sauce and all these other kind of things. We show our hatred for them by not crossing the border, buying fireworks that we're not supposed to be having. You know what I mean? In all these other things. You get what I'm saying? We show our hatred for them by hitting them where it hurt the most. You know what I'm saying? We know how the so-called white man feel about his money. You know what I mean? And that's how we're able to hurt them. You know what I'm saying? We hurt them spiritually by coming out of the Christian church and coming out of the Muslim mosque. You see what I'm saying? This is how we show our hatred. You know what I mean? We stop dating their sons and their daughters. You know what I'm saying? We come home to our own. You know what I'm saying? You want to destroy white supremacy? You know what I'm saying? Black and brown supremacy is how you destroy white supremacy. You know what I mean? The worst thing for the so-called white man to see you know what I'm saying, is a so-called black man with a so-called Native American woman. You see what I'm saying? Or a Native American man with a so-called Hispanic woman. You know what I mean? To see us come together is something that he would hate. And so since we love rebelling so much, why don't we rebel against the so-called white man? You see what I'm saying? That's righteous rebellion right there. We want to rebel against these scriptures. Since we love rebelling so much, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm saying? Try that for a change. You know what I mean? The sisters say they hate us because of who we are. We hate them because of their actions. And that's a one West way of putting it. You know what I mean? They hate us because of who we are. And because of who we are, their hatred gets us locked up in prison. You know what I'm saying? Their hatred for us gets us gunned down in the streets or ran over with a car or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Or molested or all kind of heinous crimes. You see what I'm saying? Our hatred for them is based on those same crimes, though. That's the thing. You see what I'm saying? And even in the midst of that, even in the hatred that we have for them, despite all the things, you know what I'm saying, that they've done to us, right? Which is another reason why we should hate them. They've taught us to just forgive and just let it go. Like they like using that turn the other cheek scripture, which doesn't even apply, right? But let's just say, just for this conversation, let's just say it did. Ain't y'all niggas running out of cheeks by now? I know how that sounded. I didn't mean it like that. What I'm saying, I'm talking about, again, based on the scripture of turning the other. Can't say nothing around this brother right here, man. God damn. Biblically speaking, he gonna make it damn near impossible to finish the point I'm trying to make. Oh man, you know what? Let's just move on because ain't no way in hell I'm gonna get through this analogy. So give me God damn. What was I at, man? Give me Isaiah 14:1, man. Give me Isaiah 14. I'm done. By the time I end the class, what is 9? It's 9 o'clock. Let's go into class. We'll read these last two scriptures. We'll get the hell out of here, man.
Oh, God. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
You see what I'm saying? This right here is what you call righteous hatred. Look that way. This right here is righteous hatred right here. You get what I'm saying? So this scripture right here, it actually has layers to it too, right? So when you read the first part, when it says for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. So that right there shows you a separation in itself.
Right.
You get my point? And so then when it talks about the destruction and making them servants and handmaids, right? That right there is what you call righteous hatred. You know what I'm saying? Leading those into captivity, you know what I'm saying, who once led a people into captivity. You know what I'm saying? And like A. Williams said, they don't forgive no one. And that's the thing. They're always pushing forgiveness on us. You know what I mean? We forgive them without them even asking for forgiveness. That's the crazy thing about it. I don't ever remember Dylan Root Storm ever saying, I apologize for what I did. Can y'all please accept my apology? I'm sorry. I don't ever remember reading nothing like that. You get my point? But we forgave him. He shot up a whole church full of niggas and we forgave him. You see what I'm saying? You want to add something to that?
Right. Anybody that's coming, it's being brought to the surface that they were involved in the historical pictures of the first integration of Black people coming into the schools. Because what I know, the Cowboys, their owner is being called out right now, and he had some ridiculous excuse that he was just intrigued by it. He was just curious,
right?
And that's why he was there,
right?
But then there was somebody else, I can't remember which celebrity it was, and it was like it was a screaming woman, like one of those pictures of the women screaming at one of the sisters for going to the school, for the integration of the school. And I mean, Kyrie Irving is supposed to pay, what is that, $500,000 and 5 other things that he has to do to show that he apologizes for the so-called anti-Semitic things that he had said. But yet, where's our apology? Where's our $500,000?
Right.
Where's our, when do they have to meet with us to discuss how, their actions before are affecting us now with our current oppression at that?
No, that's listen. Everything that you're saying is on point, right? And if I could, real quick, I just want to read something, right, real quick. I'm gonna close out the class. Everything that you said, was, perfectly said, right? And what I'm looking for is the article about the shooting that took place, right, in
Colorado,
the Walmart. Let me see. Is this the one?
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
In Virginia. Yeah. I don't remember, exactly where it was in my timeline, so I don't want to take too much of the time. The reason why I wanted to go to that is because what I wanted to point out was how the person that did the shooting, right? The person that did the shooting, they had no problem with making sure that you knew what he had going on. You know what I mean? He was bullied as a child and all these other kind of things. You get what I'm saying? And so what that'll do is once they put the backstory out there and you get to reading about all these things that he went through, right? By default, what would that make us do?
Try to sympathize.
Yes. And so with us doing that, what then would we do?
Can you repeat that last question?
If we start to sympathize with him because of his childhood and his past, what would we then end up doing?
Well, we wouldn't hate him as much.
Right. And if we don't hate him, we'd what?
We love him.
That's true. But what else would we do?
Forget about what's going on with that. We don't sympathize for ourselves.
That's true. The other thing is
Forgive him.
we wouldn't forgive him.
Oh.
That's what I was looking for. Everything that y'all said was correct. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because they laid all that out there, right? And just on that alone, we'll forgive them. And in the midst of all that, that's not an apology, mind you, as well. That's not an apology. That's just them laying out his whole childhood and all this other stuff. But just based on that alone, without an apology, we'll forgive. But yet we won't forgive our own when we do apologize. See the problem? You want to ask something?
I was gonna say they do the same thing with serial killers and stuff. They always start showing everything that happened to them.
Yeah, no, that's real talk. And the thing about it is, to your point, right? You know how many people see Jeffrey Dahmer in a different light now? After watching, I don't know if it's a documentary or a TV show. I'm not sure what it is, right? So that they're pointing out how crazy he was and how much of a killer he was and all this other kind of stuff. But then you have someone that's actually like sympathetic to this cat.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what about his sympathy towards all his victims? You get what I'm saying? Come on with it.
He ate people. I don't understand how you sympathize with something he does.
I mean, and that's how messed up this society is. It's so warped to the point to where they'll put you in a state of mind to where you'll forgive someone who was convicted for literally eating people. And by default, we'll end up having so much compassion for them that we have none left over for our own. And this is why you have family members who haven't spoken in 20 years over an argument at the goddamn Thanksgiving table. You see what I'm saying? Over some money that was lent out years ago. And you still mad over that. This cat can shoot up a grocery store, and because he was bullied and he was made fun of, and you know, he might be a little soft in the ass or whatever the case may be, we gotta forgive him. We had that brother that couldn't pay that $20 back because times is rough. Man, you see what I'm saying? I catch that nigga slipping, man. I'm gonna rob that nigga. I'm gonna get my $20 back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's the mindset. You get my point? And that's the thing about it. So again, all these examples is why it's necessary to do a class about righteous hatred. Right? Don't feel bad for hating the other nations. Don't feel bad for calling them out for the crime that they've committed, because they have no problem with calling us out. Mm-hmm. How are black women looked at in the eyes of white folks overall?
Loud, unruly. I mean, they say some effed up stuff. Honestly, untrue effed up stuff. But yeah, I mean that's some of the bigger things. They're unruly and they're loud. And I mean, they think all of us in the whole are stupid. So.
Mm-hmm. You want to add something?
I was gonna say, they look at them like dwarves.
Yes. You see what I'm saying? This is how they look at us. And so because of that, they look at us with hatred, right? And they paint all of us with the same brush. So if it's okay for them to paint us all with the same brush, despite not knowing us, look what did Trump say about the so-called Mexicans when he was running for president? I honestly think that's how he got in office, in my opinion. You see what I'm saying? Because his hatred for the so-called Mexicans.
Right.
You get my point? And because he said what everybody else was feeling. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And so if he can say that about us, why can't we say that about them? Come on with it.
Well, what's funny though, he said we were rapists and murderers. That's what white people are.
Yeah. That and that's the thing. You see what I'm saying? But that's my point. They're allowed to create the narrative. But yet, despite stuff like that, we're not allowed to hate them. We have to forgive him for saying stuff like that, despite him not even apologizing for saying it. When does Trump apologize for anything? You get what I'm saying? And so to sum all this up, right? This is exactly why, you know what I'm saying, we have to put these scriptures in our inward parts as well, as to why it is we should hate them. When we turn on the news, we should look at what's going on the news. We should look at how they giving all that money to Ukraine, and how Flint still don't have no water. That's a reason for righteous hatred. You get my point? We should look at how they gave all that money to Ukraine, but yet, you know what I'm saying, the so-called Native Americans are still on reservations, strung out, and you know what I'm saying, drunk out of their minds because of what was done to them by these same people that want us to love them. You see what I'm saying? We need to turn that love within ourselves, take that hatred off of ourselves, and point it in the right direction, but spiritually. You understand? With that, it's like I just realized we ran way over the time. Sorry y'all for running over the time. Yeah, we'll end it on that. I think everybody get the point. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say, "Love that neighbor as thyself." You know what I'm saying? It's talking about another so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American. When it comes to these other nations, you know what I'm saying? You should hate them with a perfect hatred, like King David said in Psalms 139. All right. Before we go, December 1st through the 4th is the annual West Coast Barbecue out here in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? If you're interested in coming to Vegas for the barbecue, you know what I'm saying, hit us up on Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. The whole itinerary is there. You know what I'm saying? It's all on social media. Instagram, TikTok, the whole thing. I mean, you can find the whole itinerary, but it all starts next Thursday with General Muhammad Scripture Breakdown class. All right. Yeah. December 1st and the 4th. Yeah. With that, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Thumb to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shema Thumb by Shem Yahshua to the sisters.